back to the No Limit Crypto channel, a channel where I bring you daily market updates from the crypto streets. If you find anything helpful in this video and you don't want to miss out on my other videos, please consider liking and subscribing. Let's get right into it. So today's video will be a longer one. We're gonna take a look at the overall market, and then after that we're gonna take a look at some specific coins, and we're just trying to get a feel on where they're going to go next week or where they could go next week. So we're gonna start off by looking at some weekly charts and see who could be the possible movers and next week, and who's due a bit of a cool-off period maybe next week. I'm gonna leave timestamps in the description, so you can, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you can just watch this specific coin you want to watch. So let's get right into it. So let's look at the overall market cap. So this is the overall crypto market cap, and as we see, we've made some nice moves lately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green candles in the market cap. And also in the market cap we have a bullish cross. But honestly, I think looking at this 7 green candles in a row, we're at some point we're due a cool-off period, and it might be next week or a week after that, but I don't see us going to have like 8, 9, 10 green candles without a red candle in between as a cool-off. Like, I counted some candles over here before, and the longest period in the history of the crypto market that there's been this many green candles, there was 10 green candles. So potentially, if we want to break that record now, you know, we have a chance to do it, but I don't think so. I think we're absolutely due a little bit of a cool-off period, and that it's a possibility that it will happen this week. And even though I don't like saying it, but it all depends on the weekly chart on Bitcoin this week. The weekly close is in about 5 hours, and if Bitcoin manages to stay above the 50k line, I think we're not due for a cool-off. But if it fails to break 50k on the weekly chart, I think we could have a cool-off period on our hands. And when I say a cool-off period, I don't mean that there's going to be a long cool-off period. You know, max 1 or 2 candles. Potentially even the 1 candle seems like the most likely. But for now, the markets have been going so crazy overall, so we know that markets can't go up, only up. Like, that doesn't happen. We need to have some sort of going up and then a short cool-off period and then go up again. Like, it's not going to happen that we just go up and for every week that we get a green candle, the likelihood for the next week to be a red candle increases. And if we look at the market cap without Bitcoin, the same crazy shit is happening over here, and it is actually almost breaking, and it's closing in on all-time highs, the market cap without Bitcoin. So let's look at Bitcoin's weekly chart now. So looking at this chart right here, Bitcoin has actually already had a small cool-off here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green candles, and then we had a small red candle, and it was actually quite a small drop. We hit 50k, and then we went back down to 46k, around that mark, and after that we pushed, and the weekly candle hasn't closed yet here, but I can almost certainly say that we will close green But the real question is, do we close above 50k? 50k is such a huge psychological mark, just the round numbers. We know people like round numbers, so the 50k is going to be a major thing. So tomorrow when I wake up, I'm 100% gonna begin my day by looking at this weekly close. And if this weekly close is above 50k, I think that bodes really well for the market in general. And I think that means that we're still gonna go up. But Bitcoin is 100% due a bigger cool off. But if we go over the 50k, I think the cool off period will come around here somewhere between 50 and 60k before we break all-time highs. But if we fail to close above 50k, I think this might be our cool off. So I think this weekly close is absolutely more important than the others, and that's why I'm taking such a close look at it. And there is also, so I have some contradicting things here. I see this bullish cross right here. So with this bullish cross, I was actually interested today when I saw this one happening. Like, we all know that these bullish crosses down here, for example, that they usually mean, or they often mean, big moves. So I went back on the chart, back to the start, and made a list of every single bullish cross on the weekly with the 9 and the 20 moving average. And the average move between crosses is plus 409%. And the average move to the max price after a cross is 982%. And the average time between crosses, so between a bullish and a bearish, was 227 days. And the average time to max was 158 days, 159 days. So this could be a really massive move for us that could absolutely take us towards all-time highs. But don't expect a 400 or a 900% return. We gotta remember that these prices and these averages, a lot of them come from the average price. Why it's so high comes from these 5k, 5,000% gains back in the days, 2,000%. So it really, like, it moves the average a bit too high. So don't expect 400% or 1,000%. But absolutely, this cross could take us towards all-time highs. So I repeat myself. Take a look at this weekly cross. If we close above 50k, good things could happen. If we close below the 50k, there might be a short cool-off period. So let's look at some other let's look at some other charts on the weekly time frame. Let's start with Cardano. Cardano has gone crazy lately, obviously. We know that, from $1 to $3, major moves. And to me, when I look at this chart, to me it screams it's going to cool off. It's going to come down a bit. I don't see, or I do obviously see other opportunities here too. We gotta remember that the smart contracts are coming in 1 week, 7 days. So Cardano could have one last push. I'm not saying that's impossible, but when I look at this chart and this crazy move, to me this screams it needs to cool off for some time. And I think it's going to cool off. Either we're going to have a one last blast and then come down and cool. So I would expect max one green candle more, and then Cardano is going to cool off. or Cardano is going to cool off right now. And in Cardano's case, I really don't see us closing above $3 right here, which could be a sign that the cool off is going to start right now. But obviously Sundays are not the biggest trading days, which could mean that we fail to break the $3 here, or we will fail to break the $3. And yeah, that could mean that Cardano is going to have some trouble next week. But obviously when I say these things, nothing is 100%. These are just like speculations. Like I'm just looking at the chart and looking at this looks too good. This looks too good to be true. Don't FOMO into this one. Like if you see this move and you buy in right here, I would say it's gonna be likely that you're gonna lose money. So I wouldn't FOMO in. I might add some Cardano, if we successfully break the $3 next week, because I'm still kind of anticipating Cardano to have one last push before smart contracts. And when the smart contracts come, that's at latest when Cardano is going to have a cool off. That's for sure. And let's look at Ethereum. So Ethereum has made, obviously, a crazy move last week. If we look at this move, we made 30% last week, major things. And in Ethereum's case, I don't really know. Like looking at this, like I would love for Ethereum to close above 4K, which would then mean that we're kind of confirming that 4K line. But actually, I don't even mind Cardano coming back down for a while and loading up the bullets for us breaking all-time highs. So also in Cardano's case, not Cardano, in Ethereum's case, I hope I didn't talk about Cardano the whole time. In Ethereum's case, look at the weekly close. A close above 4K, 100% means amazing things. A close below 4K could mean that we have one red candle here. We load up our bullets, we load up energy, and then we blast through 4K, and at the same time, all-time highs. You know, from 4K, or from the price right now, to all-time highs, it's just 11% left. So we could expect some sort of cool off here for a week, 2 at tops. And after that, Cardano is gonna have enough momentum. And also, I'm talking about Cardano the whole time. Ethereum. So yeah, in Ethereum's case, we also have this bullish cross here, which then again means good things are going to happen. But this bullish cross doesn't mean that we have to go like one red candle over here doesn't affect this cross yet. So a one red candle cool off to 3.5k maybe, and then blasting through. That's a fairly likely scenario. And then comes Matic. Matic actually started making moves, I think yesterday, made some major moves. And looking at this chart, we almost came to a bearish cross, which Matic hasn't seen yet after the last all-time highs. And this weekly close, I think we're not gonna have a bearish cross right here, and that we just bounce off here and then go up. Because looking at this chart, Matic has done what I'm expecting in most coins right now, that all coins need to have this. This needs to happen for all coins that are just running. Like, you can't just run. You have to breathe for a while. Like, breathe. And so Matic has gone up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. Then came one red candle. And right now we're gonna have a green candle, that's for sure. And I think this looks like a healthy scenario for Matic to push forward. And at least I would almost say I expect Matic to break or test $2 next week. That seems to me like a likely scenario and a realistic scenario. You know, we can obviously always look at the percentages. That's a 20% move. That's nothing, basically. So I would expect Matic to go to $2 next week. And next comes Polkadot. Polkadot is my favorite right now. I have a sizable position in Polkadot, and Polkadot is on the run. And actually Polkadot chart to me looks fairly healthy. We made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green candles, had a bit of cool off, and last week Polkadot went crazy again. So I could expect us to have a pretty nice week in Polkadot and at least test $40. I think $40 is a realistic target for next week. And I honestly think that. And I'm still in my position. I haven't planned on selling anything yet. At $40, I'm probably gonna sell something at least. And then we get to last week's one of the biggest movers, Solana. Yeah, you see this move in Solana. Just in general, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green candles. You know what that means. Cool off is coming. And also, you know, this just looked so overextended. Last week, or this week, a 45% move, 60% to the top. You know, I don't see Solana going higher than this next week. I think there just has to be a cool off somewhere. Like, it doesn't matter how many good news you get. Like, this is not healthy for the market. And Solana might obviously just keep on running, but I think Solana 100%, when you look at this chart, needs to cool off for a while. Like, there's just no way for us to go up. So Solana next week, expect it to cool off. Don't expect it to rise. That's my take on Solana. I wouldn't enter any long trades next week on Solana. But then there comes a coin that I think will make moves next week. Pretty similar to Matic, obviously. Has done some moves, actually hasn't done anything crazy. If you think of, like, if you compare it to other coins, you know, let's take from down here to right now. Yeah, obviously it's 100% move. But this chart in itself looks super healthy to me, and it looks really healthy to just keep going from here. We have had our small cool off period right here, and now we're blasting through again. And I wouldn't even deny Algorand, ALGO, to break all-time highs next week. Like, we're not far away. If you look at this, we're absolutely very close to all-time highs. we might not break them next week, but I could absolutely see Algorand test all-time highs next week. And I would be really surprised if Algorand made a red candle next week. To me, this chart looks really healthy. Bam, cooled off for a while, and bam. That's my prediction. Then comes Doge. If you hate Doge, skip through. Don't watch this and get angry. There's just people out there who want to see stuff about Doge, and that's why I'm here. So Doge also looks like it might have a good week ahead. Like, looking at this, bam, made nice 4 candles, green the green, made a big move. That's something like a 100% move. Might be a bit higher, 150, 120%. Let's stop speculating and let's look at it. Yeah, 120% move to the upside. Came back down for 2 weeks. And now we're gonna have a green candle. So I would expect Doge to make big moves next week. Just looking at the chart on the weekly time frame, and just like it's more like feeling the chart here. There's no drawing here, there's nothing. It's just looking at the chart and seeing and thinking what could be healthy right now. Chainlink goes into the category of Matic and Algorand. Absolutely going to have a big week next week, I think. Probably going to have a green candle, or not probably, I think it will have a green candle. Don't hold me to that, but I think this chart also has the healthiness in it. We've had a cool off period right here last week, and we're waiting to blast off this week, this upcoming week. I think we're blasting off, and at least without going to the lower time frames, we can see that there's on the weekly time frame, there is no real resistance or support here. There was no support here, which then means that there's not gonna be a lot of resistance to the upside. AAVE, same category as Matic and ALGO and others, made a nice move, had a cool off, and ready to make its next big move. And then also the bullish cross down here. XRP, yeah, woo, XRP. No, I love XRP. There's some good news in XRP last week, or there were some good news in XRP. And looking at the chart, I think we're gonna go nuts. And this is something that all XRP lovers are gonna love to hear. But I think XRP is gonna go absolutely bonkers next week. There's probably gonna be something like this green candle. Could it be that we push towards the all-time highs next week? Yeah, sure. Might not be next week, but a 50% move in a week, I mean, that's not impossible. But I think XRP will go absolutely crazy next week. I'm 100% looking for an entry into XRP right now. And if you want to see what my strategy is for XRP, press the timestamp down below where I take a closer look at XRP. So now let's look at some of these charts in the shorter time frames, just to get a feel of next week where we're going. Again, we looked at the weekly time frame just to get a overall feeling of the market. And now let's just look at the daily, see if any of these coins have some nice patterns forming, maybe some bearish divergences, you know, something like that. So Bitcoin definitely has been forming. I hope you don't hear that motorcycle outside. But yeah, Bitcoin has been forming some sort of small bearish divergences right here. So we have a high there, a high around here, and it's a bit lower on the RSI, not much, but it is still lower. And then we have this last push this week is also lower. So looking at that, I wouldn't be surprised if we cool off and fail to break this or fail to hold over the 50k line and have a cool off period for a while. But then there's also a possible kind of ascending triangle which has a tendency to break to the upside. And this is actually a pattern that we see fairly often once we reach these bigger resistance lines, like bigger psychological resistance lines, like this 50k. It's a nice round number, of course. So this is a pattern that usually forms around these ones. And if we look at this, it kind of seems like what this does is that we push the 50k or the resistance, and then the bears try to come in, and also people taking profits, and then we come back for a while, and then we push again, and this basically just tightens up, and very often it tries to gain the momentum it needs to break the resistance line. And that's a very possible outcome of this triangle right here. It kind of looks like it's breaking the triangle right now. And if this daily candle closes over the 50k mark, that also means that the weekly candle will close over the 50k line. And at that point, this pattern is probably going to be void, and we can forget about it. It has broken. We have confirmed 50k, and then we need to look at next levels. And as I've said before, there is not much resistance in Bitcoin actually between 50k and 58k. So we're looking at a small little blue one here that could pose some trouble to us, but I'm not expecting it to be big trouble. So I'm actually looking for a pretty free ride from 50 to 58k. And actually this is probably going to be a very fast move. And it could happen next week. 100%. And it has everything to do with the weekly candle. And obviously this daily candle, because if this daily candle closes above 50k, that means that the weekly candle also closes above 50k. So keep an eye on the weekly candle over here. So then comes Cardano, one of my favorite coins. And it's also looking, we have a very similar pattern over here, a ascending triangle forming on the daily charts, which obviously, as I said before, if you watched the Bitcoin part of this video, this usually breaks to the upside, and it's right now, it's gaining momentum. The bears are losing control. Every time we go up, the bears, they lose control. They don't have that much force in them, which then could mean that we break the $3 and make one last push before the smart contracts. So this pink line over here, that's smart contracts. So there's, like, obviously there's two opportunities for Cardano right now. There's opportunities for every coin. It either goes up or it either goes down. I don't want to sound fucking stupid, but this, if we break this to the downside, this triangle over here, I think it's over for Cardano for now, and we're gonna cool off for a shorter period of time maybe. we're gonna go 270, 250, 225, 190. Those are levels where I hope to see support, and I really hope that we see support around the $2 mark at least. But if this pattern breaks to the upside, as it often does, and Cardano will make one last push before it cools off, like something that's certain right now, I think, and for me in my head is, Cardano is going to cool off. At some point in the near future, Cardano will cool off. And right now it's either one last push to the upside, or we break down here and we cool off for a while. And if we break this ascending triangle to the upside, I'm looking for $3.40. That's my target, $3.40. And after that, my next target is 485, but yeah, I don't think that's relevant for the next week at least. At some point, sure, but not next week. So at Cardano, $3 significant. If this pattern breaks up, look for 340. If it breaks down, start looking at these levels for support. Next comes Ethereum. Ethereum is really knocking on the all-time high door right here. And just looking at this chart right now, I think Ethereum is going to cool off here for a while. Like, there's 6 hours until we close this daily candle and also close the weekly candle. And if we make one last push, it's a pretty massive push we need to make to break 4K and close above the 4K mark. And it's Sunday evening, fairly unlikely to see one last push, but you'll never know, people might go crazy. But once we fail to break 4K, I'm expecting us to cool off for a while. And if you looked at my previous videos, you know that I had a resistance line over somewhere around here, 3.8K, and I had this zone right here, which I predicted that Ethereum will trade in this zone in the shorter time frame. When I made that video, we were looking at 4 hours and I believe 1 hour time frames. And just to like make the zone wider for if we were gonna be in a zone for a whole week, possibly, or at least for the start of the week, multiple days, I think this zone is where we're going to be. And I think we're gonna do something like this. We're just gonna be here, cool off for a while, and load our bullets for the next push. And the next push will be all-time highs. You can see this green line. That's where all-time highs are. So you can see that we're really close to all-time highs in Ethereum. And once we break the all-time highs, crazy things. 100%, there are going to be crazy things happening. And we're most likely going to see 6K after that. And after 6K, 10K. So I could see Ethereum going to 10K this year. But we need this push to the all-time highs first. And that's target number 1 is all-time highs. After that, yeah, we're looking at that. We're going crazy after that. But yeah, next week for Cardano, not Cardano, Ethereum, look for this. Look for this zone. This zone is going to be the key for next week, I think. I might be wrong. You know, if I'm wrong, I'm happy wrong, because that means that we're broken 4K and Ethereum is going to the moon. No. But yeah, I think this zone is the most likely scenario for next week. Then we have DOT, my favorite right now. honestly, there's not much happening here on the dot chart. On the daily, we could argue that there might be some sort of bull flag, not bull flag maybe, but like a ascending triangle actually right here, which could mean that the next move is gonna be massive. And I actually have a take profit on dot at 39.50. So I think we're going to 40, but yeah, I think 39.50 sounds like a nice number for me. And I don't want to see us going to 39.80 and failing there and coming back down. You know, you have to take profits sometimes. Like, if you don't take profits, you don't make money. The green in your account doesn't matter until you realize that profit. It's so simple. So yeah, dot, looking for big moves next week. Absolutely. I think we're going up, and no question about it. Might be a bit biased because I'm long on dot, but yeah, I think we're going up here. Doge, on the weekly time frame, I think I said that Doge is likely going to have a nice move to the upside. We have actually broken a trend line right here, so I still agree with myself from earlier today, or from 15 minutes ago or something like that, that Doge is 100% going to go up. I think this chart right here, breaking the trend line is always nice. I think we're gonna have a move up to the upside here next week. Then comes the fan favorite, XRP. And XRP actually looked really healthy on the weekly time frame. So absolutely XRP, we're looking for big moves next week. In XRP too, we have broken this trend line on the daily chart, and these trend line breaks on the daily charts, they are massive. They could mean big moves, you know, in combination with having a nice weekly chart with potential and breaking a trend line on the daily chart. Yeah, big things. So the first target for XRP next week is 135, and if and when we successfully break 135, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw XRP making a 26% gain to 170. I think this is realistic for next week, us to enter this zone and bam, testing this one. Maybe not breaking it, but it's likely that we're going to test it next week. And if you're interested in AXIE Infinity, I called a break here last week. The video didn't really get that many views, but yeah, I called that we're going to break this one to the upside, and it happened. We made a really nice move from the break to the upside of 25%. So that was a nice move. I don't have that much more about it. I was just excited about it in last week, looking at it and seeing this pattern form and thinking that it's going to go upwards more, and it did. Chainlink. If I'm not wrong, Chainlink on the weekly looked good. So we are expecting upwards momentum next week. And we have two resistance lines over here, $33 maybe, and 35, which are the major things to break next week if we want to go up. And after that, we're looking at over 40. So if we break 33 and 35, expect 45. That's my take on Chainlink for next week. Not that one. Matic. Matic actually broke a resistance over here. Now it kind of sadly looks like it's trying to come back down under it, which I actually don't like to see. I wasn't really expecting this. But we have this small, maybe like tiny bearish divergence over here, which could bode bad things for the next week. But the weekly chart did look nice. So this might just be a little bit of a consolidation around this 160, 170 range here, and then break to the upside. I really think that we're going to go to the upside. Could be something like this, that we come back and down and test this trend line over here before next week, or not before next week, but during next week, and then we break 170 and then we go up to over $2 pretty easily. Doesn't look like there's much happening here, so $2 seems likely next week. Algorand. Yeah, Algorand is going crazy. Looking at this chart, yeah, there's big potential for next week. Breaking a support here, or this actually wasn't support, I drew this as a breaking the last high. You know, in an uptrend we want to make higher lows and higher highs. So breaking this one right here is major. We're still in an uptrend on Algorand, and we're looking at something like 170, 180, and then all-time highs, if I'm not wrong. So we're actually really close, and this is a potential move for next week. Absolutely a potential move for next week. This was all from me in this video, in this Sunday update on the overall crypto markets. I hope you enjoyed it. I like making this. It's a really long video. If you're still here, I love you. Please like and subscribe. Peace out. Thank you. Good night.